So today I'm here with Camryn Obilom, an actress, producer, and director. Camryn has been working on movies since 2012, and her talents have led her to work with and star in movies with some of the greatest actors and actresses in Hollywood. As a multifaceted entertainer, she has proven that she is a force to be reckoned with. I'm looking forward to our conversation today, so let's get started with the first question. So I just want to start at the beginning. I was doing some research and I saw that you caught this acting bug from your older sister, but is there anyone else who inspired you to go into acting?
Initially, I didn't see many women that looked like me when I was coming up, but someone that I really did look up to was Kerry Washington. And just like watching her on Scandal just be a complete bad A. It was something I'd never seen before, seeing a black woman as a lead as a huge TV show that is not just like a black show, but it's just a show. It's just a show in general. And watching her just body that entire how many seasons? I don't know how many seasons it was, but I was in it the whole time, and that was really inspiring. And these days, Viola Davis is someone that inspires me to keep going. And so I'm just coming up on the backs of these incredible women that let me know that someone like me can be an actress. Someone like me can be a star, if you will. So yeah, I think those two women have really had. Also, Raven Simone. Raven Simone, watching That's a Raven was so important to me. So important to me. I would think I would say Raven because I forgot it so long ago. But as a kid, looking at Raven, just put Disney on her back. You know she carried Disney. And she was funny and she was silly and goofy and loud and all the things. And I'm like, oh my God, that is crazy. And then I feel like she kind of helped mold my personality. Like I really watched her and I was like, oh, I want to do that. So Raven Simone was a big, big, big influence in my life when I was younger.
Yeah, that's awesome. So compared to other TV stars, film stars, you're considered to be fairly new to the scene. Like you started in 2012, which is not that long ago. So how does it feel to look back at?
Go ahead.
Sorry. No, you go ahead.
No, I was like 2012. Like I was still in college. I would say. Yeah. Professionally, I started 2014.
Okay, so 2004. Yeah. So you're fairly new to acting or to the movie scene. So how does it feel when you look back at where you started versus where you are now?
Oh well, wow, it's a huge difference. I'll tell you that much. Mentally, physically, career-wise, everything has changed. But I like to think I still kept my integrity. And my ambition and my just how I do things just morally. But just career-wise, I never doubted myself, really. There are times where I was like, I don't know when it's going to happen. I don't know. It's very discouraging getting no's all the time as an actress. But I never thought of really quitting. That was never a thing in my head. But to see where I've come now, I know my younger self would just be so happy and be not exactly shocked, but just grateful that we are making it and we continued to do what we set out to do. It came here for a reason, and I'm doing that. And that in itself, I'm very proud of myself. Like I don't say that too often, but I'm very proud of myself for not giving up and remaining steadfast in this race actors have to do, and just enjoying life. I think that was the key. I just enjoyed life in between jobs when I had no's, when I had nothing. I just found happiness, and that really helped. And I feel like that kind of comes off in my work and my auditions, and it's almost a relaxed type of feeling. It's not a desperate feeling.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. So how do you react to the no's essentially, because obviously there's going to be a lot of no's, there's going to be a lot of yeses, but how do you sort of deal with the no's?
Oh, honey, I don't get no's anymore. Just kidding. Me? No, no one tells me no anymore. Honey.
Yeah.
Stop. I just have to, you just have it. Honestly, you have to think of it as the job. You have to. It's because whether you're a superstar, whether you're Jennifer Lawrence, whether you're Brad Pitt, they've all got no's still to this day. It's more like, oh, we'd love to have you, but this other person is, whatever it is. So it's just a part of the job, and you really can't take it personally because it could be the slightest thing. It could be your height. It could be, it could be anything, It has nothing, a lot of time it has nothing to do with your talent because you are extremely talented. I always say acting is a lot of talent, but it's also a lot of luck and being in the right place at the right time. So a lot of people I notice take the no's really personally. And if I had any advice on if you're trying to become an actor, do not do that. But I love seeing actors just super resilient. Like, yeah, I got to know on this, but I'm going to keep going. And it's great. Like, it's fine. I don't mind. Like, it was a great audition. You're getting in the room for these casting directors. So it's not exactly a no. It's a maybe later. So
yeah, true.
Yeah.
Awesome. That's a great mentality. So, since 2014, I guess, since you've sort of started, you've built quite the resume. You've been in over, I believe it was 25 movies and series. So you've been busy. So how does it, like, how busy were you? Or did you ever get this burnt out feeling like you were doing too much, like more than you could handle essentially?
I wouldn't say more than I can handle. At this point, I'm at my parents' house right now. That's why it's a little old school in here. But I have been working nonstop. Like I've been here for 3 days, and this is the first time I've had like a break, without acting for months, since I think January. And I bought a house in February, but I couldn't even move in because one, I tried to move in like in a week, but that was a week Texas had that weird storm. And so my stuff has just been sitting there. So now I'm back because my parents live where my house is. And I'm just trying to do the things I was trying to do before I had to leave. So there is time. I haven't felt burnt out, but it gives me a little anxiety to know that my stuff is here and it's not all, done up. And I'm a perfectionist when it comes to my house, which is really annoying because it's like, there's no perfect way to have your house. So yeah, that was the only thing, but this year has been extremely busy, but knowing where I was before, I wasn't going to be like, this is too much because there was a time where I didn't have anything. So maybe later I'll have a burnt out feeling, but for now I feel good. But I'm definitely going to travel, hopefully before the next project, because I love to travel. I love to experience new cultures. That's what makes me happy. So I'm going to try to do that and then go to the next project. If not, hey, we'll try again some other time. But yeah. Yeah.
So just this year, you've been in DC Universe's Doom Patrol and the Netflix film Resort to Love. So what's it like acting in two completely different genres? I mean, they're very different from each other, those two things, sort of at the same time, like not simultaneously, but within the same year.
Well, it was the complete opposite characters for sure. Opposite moods. Like in Doom Patrol, when I was filming, I'm like, can y'all see me? Because it's real dark in here. Like these lights are super moody. Like I don't know how y'all are gonna see me, but okay. But also the lighting puts you into the mood of Doom Patrol, which is very moody, very I would say not angsty, but it's very dark. So just there in this little, my first scene was in the studio, but it was like in a room that was, for Alcohol Anonymous. Is that how you say it? Alcohol Anonymous? No, it was
Anonymous?
AA, right? Alcoholics
Yes.
Anonymous. But it was like that, but it's for, PTSD, people who suffer from PTSD. So it was one of those groups that help each other. And so that compared to being in Mauritius for Resort to Love was complete opposites. Mauritius was, I had the time of my life both times, but Mauritius was absolutely mind-blowingly beautiful, stunning, dazzling, all the things, hot. It was a tropical vacation the whole time. And it was incredible both ways, in different ways. And as an actress, as someone who went to college, who's done theater for it, I love playing different characters. So this is exactly what I want to be doing. This is the way I feel like I don't get bored. I feel like typecasting is not as bad as people say because you get money. But for the love of acting, this is how I would like it, to play different characters, especially as a Black woman, because we don't see them play many different types. So it's like, I want to play things like the Joker, or I don't know, I want to play superhero, or I want to play someone who's just down and there's so many different things that we haven't even touched the surface on that I want to play. So I think this is only the beginning, but I want to continue to play very unique roles and very different roles for the rest of my career. Yeah.
Yes. So how would you say you sort of, I'm not an actress, but do you have a technique that you sort of step into that room and it's like, is there something you do to sort of get into that character, or sort of, how do you get into each character, especially if you're going from completely different characters all the time? How do you step into those roles?
Well, if it's a new character, I would say the most preparing I do for a new character is in the audition. So when it's a character that I've had for a while, like Nia in Games People Play, she's similar to me. So that's one thing that helps it just be easier, is we just have similarities. And, I've done it for a while now. So it's like she's within me. But if it's a new character, I'm really big on music. If it's, I like to know what type of genre we're going for. I have a little backstory in my head. I try, because, I feel like obviously characters have a little bit of me in all of them. But I try to make each character have its unique tick or unique facial thing or whatever it is to get me into it. Just like when I do accents, there's usually like a word that I'll say that'll help me get into it. That's almost like maybe I have a tick for an actor that will help, but for a character that will make me get into it. But yeah, I'd say that. Yeah.
So you mentioned Games People Play, and that was going into my next question. So that show has really put your name in the spotlight. You portray Nia, as you were saying, and you portray her very well. So how does it feel to be so widely recognized for this character that you play?
It was my first big thing. I always get shocked when someone like, "Hey, I know you." I'm like, "No, you don't." But then, I'm like, "You watch the show? Oh, okay, cool." But no, it was like a really big hit when it first came out, and I know everyone's just like, "Where's the next season? What's the next season?" It's coming out October 19th. But it's interesting. It's fun. It's fun to know that people resonate with your work and people recognize you and like your work. I think that's a beautiful thing, because success is not about what other people think, but it's really beautiful when someone can recognize that you worked hard and you put your heart into something, because I put my heart into it for people. I want people to feel something. I want to make people laugh and cry and do all these things. And I get joy when I see people do that. So it's a lovely feeling. I mean, hopefully it doesn't get crazy one of these days, but it's nice to get like every once in a while. I'm like, oh, that's nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, this is a drama series. So how would you describe working in drama compared to working in like romance or other sorts of film? Is the reaction different? Is it harder to step into since it's a drama? It's meant to be more dramatic. So what's it like working in that genre?
Well, when I do drama, I always like to put a little bit of a little comedy in there, a little lightness in there, because you got to have it. And me and my Kendall, who plays my best friend / assistant, MJ, I feel like we're that for the show. Obviously, there's drama. We have a lot of drama going on, a lot of scary things happening in their lives. But I always make sure to put comedy in there, to put some humor in there, because people need to laugh sometimes. It's like, you can't always be tense. But that compared to, say, Resort to Love, it's definitely more bigger, because it's like one of those rom-coms where it's just like, that would never happen, but it's a rom-com, so it's fine.
Yeah.
So it's like, your reactions would be bigger. It would be it would always be grounded, but it would be more, bigger, I would say. Then not too bigger. It's a weird balance. You just got to figure it out. Like, it's a really tricky part. That's why I say I always need to know like the genre, or I ask the director, what movies should I be looking at, or studying to see what the feel is. Like, how big should I go? Because that's always been a question of mine. Like, how big should I go? Because I can go big and I can go very small. So what is it?
Yeah.
So it's nice when a director knows like what exactly he's going for when it comes to that stuff, because it can be all these actors doing different movies. So you got to be on the same page.
Yeah, definitely. So in the future, I don't know how much you can disclose, but where do you see, or what do you see yourself doing in the future? More movies? Is there any other sort of entertainment or arts that you would like to get into?
Yeah, for sure, more movies for sure. And directing, I definitely want to get into directing a lot more. That's just something that's just been gnawing at me, like, Karen, you need to direct. So it's just something I'm like trying to figure out like the best way to get into it. But I'm like, at this point, I'm like, hi, let me direct your stuff. Just asking people at this point. So yeah, directing for sure. More movies, hopefully a third season of Games People Play, or, just more work, more unique characters. I would love to do a comedy, like just a straight up comedy. Yeah. Because that's always been something near and dear to my heart. Like, my favorite movie, it's funny, my two favorite movies are complete opposites. One is Remember the Titans, and then the second one is Bridesmaids. So, I am obsessed with Bridesmaids. I'm obsessed with how they improv. I'm obsessed with how the characters drive the movie. I think that's incredible. And I think it's so lucky that they got such incredible improv actors for that, because it couldn't have been that way with anybody else. So, yeah, comedy for sure.
Yeah, and then I just wanted to ask one last question. So, it's obviously hard to pick, but what has been your favorite career experience so far, or your favorite movie? I know it's probably hard to decide, but...
Oh, I got one.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, I do. My favorite experience was definitely going to Mauritius. That was definitely the highlight of my life, not even just my career. But it was because it was a mixture of, I get to travel, and I love to travel, and then I get to work, and then I get to stay in this amazing place where they treat you like royalty, and the people there are so kind, and just, it was like a fairy tale. I'm like, still like, did I do that? That was crazy. That was weird. But like, the proof is in the pictures I took and the friends I made. And it wasn't just the place, it was the friends I made. Yeah, like that, those are my family. That's my family now.
Yeah.
So that was an all around 100 A+ experience, and it will be hard to top it, but I hope I do.
I'm sure you will. Yes. And then, sorry, I said last question, but I'm going to add on one more. What pushes you to keep going? What I guess what inspires you, or what gets you like taking more acting gigs, and just what keeps you going, I guess, in this industry, because it's a hard one to be in.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like there's always been this feeling in the back of my head that this is what I'm supposed to do. And that's why it's a big reason why I haven't quit, is because it's like almost that I don't have a choice except to keep going. And I want to support my mom and my family. So it's just something that I feel so lucky to be able to be doing. And not that, I can't quit. Quitting is not a thing, it's a shameful thing. But for me, that's just not an option. It's because it's something that I love to do, and something that I can support my family with. Even if I found another thing to support my family with, acting is something I love. So yeah, I think that's just that feeling that overwhelming feeling that I've always had. I didn't start acting until, I don't know. I mean, before I just had terrible stage fright. But like really acting until senior year in high school. And I wasn't not going to go to college for it, but I was just like, oh, okay, I'm going to go to LA real quick. Bye guys. Yeah. it just happened. It's like, it was like something was pushing me and my legs were just going,
Yeah.
So yeah, it just feels very destined, and it's almost spiritual type of thing that I've been feeling for the past several years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being here and for answering all my questions. I really appreciate you taking the time.
Of course. Awesome. Thank you for having me.